Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Ms. Matias, we are live. We are streaming. You may proceed with today's public executive review session.
Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals Review Session for July 15th, 2025. Please, for the record, that Commissioner Sheta and Vice Chair Shabeta will be joining us remotely. The first items up are special order calendar, new cases, 2019-206BZ, Volume 2, 5122 Roosevelt Avenue, Queens.
Everybody, please turn your microphone on
Make sure
when you're
microphones are
speaking,
on.
and speak into the mic.
Yeah.
So this is an extension of time. A hearing notice is not required. Applicant is seeking an extension of time to complete construction and obtain a CO for a development that was granted a special permit for exceeding the height limits, and it expires in September of 2025. There is one open violation, and that's an ECB violation, and which is because there's a it is related to construction that is temporary in nature. So applicant states that a certificate of correction has been submitted to resolve this violation. So I would like the applicant to provide an update at the public hearing. This is the first extension of time that is being requested. Applicant states that it needs to this extension, though no reason has been given, and how much time. I'm assuming it would be the standard 4 years that would be allocated. I have no issues on this one, other than the question I raised. Vice Chair Shabeta?
Thank you, Chair. I have no further comments on this application.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
I believe they stated in some of their paperwork, I don't remember where I got it from, that they do need 4 more years. And that they're beginning construction by the end of 2025. But I have no questions on it.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I confirmed that they requested 4 years, and I saw that. And I also share your comments, Chair, regarding the updates, if any updates on the violations. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I have no comments.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 2020-56A, Volume 2, 5860 West 39th Street, Manhattan.
Okay. This is also an extension of time. So hearing notice not required. Applicant is requesting a 4-year extension of time for a previously approved common law vesting application, which will be expiring in July 2025, July 25th, 2025. There are too many 25s in this. So the applicant stated its reason, and there are violations, and there is a partial stop work order, and it is all construction site safety related. And the applicant states that it will be resolved once the project resumes. I though would like a little bit more update as to the status. Vice Chair Shabeta.
Thank you, Chair. I have no further questions on this application besides status.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown?
So they initially made all of the findings on January 2021.
Right.
When they filed their first common law. And I took down all of the information from the resolution. So my only question is, has there been anything done on this site since that point in time? Could they just give her a summary update?
Since 2021, okay.
Yeah, I did reach out to them. Unfortunately, they didn't respond.
Yeah, it seems that there is a portion of the tower that is built, but I'm not sure how much of any extension of it, additional work has happened in the interior. Yeah, okay, good. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. I have nothing further on that. And that like the tower is now like 34-story. I'm not sure that was the case back in 2021, but it's 34-story now. as they mentioned.
Okay. So there has been some progress made if it was not good. It's
Yeah.
34 now. It was 34 then?
No,
No.
it was just groundwork, foundation work. They
Okay,
should give us an update.
okay,
Yeah, they said the subject site has an unfinished 34-story, 173-room hotel. So that means that the tower itself, I believe the skeleton is finished, if what they mentioned is accurate.
So it'd be great if they could give us a percentage then
okay.
of complete update and and money spent on it.
And the reason you're asking for this clarification is because of the common law vesting and trying to establish that they,
Well, they've already established it, but I think they should just bring us up to date.
okay. All right. That's fine.
I'm just watching the two.
They've already vested.
Yeah.
Well,
The
Never
board already
mind.
recognized their vested right. We're now analyzing the board's discretion to permit them to continue construction pursuant to that vested right.
Commissioner Young?
that's why it's
Thank you.
an SOC and not an A.
Right, that's one. That's why we went back and forth on that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that.
I had a similar question, just providing some detail of what remains and what's been done to date. Also, just wanted to note that there's an additional violation as of June 14th regarding a 24-hour watch person on site. So whatever is happening, the violations seem to keep adding up.
Yeah,
So it would be good to address that by the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
item number 21-268-98 BZ, Volume 3, 1252 Forest Avenue, Queens. Staten Island, sorry, Staten Island.
Okay, we received proof of service of initial filing and hearing notices. Community board has voted to approve this application. There's a slight error in the lineup regarding the existing zoning district. It actually is C2-1, not C2-21. So that correction should be reflected.
What is it? I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
C2-1. It's actually, there's a typo. It's listed as C2-21.
21?
-21.
Okay, sorry.
So this is an amendment application for a previously approved special permit pursuant to former zoning resolution section 73-211. Similar to that, what is today under City of Yes 73-163. For a continued operation of a gasoline service station at the subject site. The applicant is requesting amendment of board's resolution for the elimination of the term which expired in August of 2019, an extension of time which expired in August of 2011, and waiver of board's rule. The portion of the site along, it has two street frontages, and portion of the site that is along Jewett is located within the bed of Map Street. So with that in mind, on the site plan, indicate the street widening line along Jewett Avenue. Indicate on the plan the airvac machine. There is an ice box near the trash enclosure. Indicate that on the plan. Dimension the width of the pathway on the plan. Per zoning resolution section 32-643, no more than 50 square foot of illuminated signage per frontage for a corner lot is permitted, while the total illuminated sign seems to exceed it, which is 98 square foot. I think if they revise the sign chart based on street frontages, it may meet the requirements, so they need to show compliance. The last extension that was granted was in 2010. And at that time, the time to obtain CO was granted, had to be obtained by August of 2011. What I noticed in this whole history of it, there was a CO that was last issued back in 2000. Since then, there has been no other COs that's been issued on this. And And I didn't see any other updated records of COs based on BIS. As I mentioned, the last one was in 2002, and applicant didn't provide a copy of it. What they had provided copy was 2000, I think. So with regards to the proof of continuous use, though an affidavit has been provided by the council, the owner's council, we typically look for something that is more based on factual existence of the operation, which is either utility bills or the most simple one is Google Street View. And I looked at Google Street View and the site has
I'm sorry.
and the site has been in operation in September of 2019, October 2021, August 2024, and November 2024. So it seems it covers pretty much the gap since the last grant, since it last expired in 2019. For me, that was adequate. However, this is really an information the applicant should be providing. With regards to the compliance chart, applicant needs to provide interior site condition photos, especially along the side and the rear lot line and the landscaped area that's located along the rear. Regarding the lighting condition need to add there is no lighting plan that was required by prior board. I'm okay with that, but lighting notes need to be added. And the note should say that the lumen level along the property line abutting residential uses shall not exceed 2-foot candle, and that the lighting shall be positioned down and away from the adjacent residential uses. Regarding the 1999 condition about outdoor repair, since there are no auto repair operation permitted on this site, it's just a convenience store with a gasoline. I think we can safely remove that condition. So it would be, Ms. Matias, you're questioning that?
No. I'm just
Okay.
saying. it's-
So I think it would be
make sure it's-
helpful for the applicant to go through the prior board conditions and see which ones are no longer applicable given the current use. This is the only one I found so far. I didn't do a deep dive, so the applicant should look at that and see what in the past that were related to the automotive repair are still on the books, need to be removed. We can do that, and this would be the time to do that.
Okay.
According to the BIS, there are no open violation, which has been also stated by the applicant. So I was okay with that. However, the applicant is requesting elimination of the terms and the time to obtain CO, and I don't think I'm quite ready there. And given in the past that the board, they have not been successful in obtaining CO, I am very hesitant in letting the board just eliminate the term. Maybe we can give a longer term, but not an elimination. That's where I stand on this matter. Vice Chair Shibeta?
Thank you, Chair. I agree with everything you said. With regard to the extension or eliminating of term, I do agree that they did not get their CFO for a period of time. So I think at this point, if we can give them a much longer term, even a 20-year term, and at that time see if a cancellation of a termination of term is appropriate, I think that would be more appropriate for the board. I have no further questions.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
So I agree with you that they should incorporate the Google Street View photos into their proof of continuous use. And I actually noted that if you go further down the street, you could actually pick up July 2022 as well. So
Okay.
that really firms up the record. I have one question. They have stated that there are minor deviations from the previously approved plans. Since they're already filing this as an amendment, shouldn't there be an additional request to legalize those deviations?
Okay, so that's a good point. I was doing a very quick check and I didn't see the deviation, so applicant should walk us through what those deviations are.
Okay.
And based on that, if they're interior, I'm not sure to what extent we need to weigh in on it unless there is an increase in the accessory convenience store layout because it has to be compliant to the TPPN.
Mhm.
And that would be for DOB to confirm. But if there's any exterior changes, the applicant should clearly point that out. And
Mhm.
based on that, maybe you're right. In that case, it needs to be an amendment also.
They did file this as an amendment due to the lapse of the condition.
Right, so
The
let's
lapse of-
say-
Amendment for the
Yeah.
condition, yeah.
The amendment for the site plans.
Yeah,
I
since
don't
they
know if
filed
that
it already.
matters in terms of the filing fee or,
It may not matter in terms of filing fee.
they need to call it out.
But they need to call it out.
You would
And
revise
specifically,
plans?
if it affects, yes.
Yeah.
Specifically, if it affects any of the findings. That's the other critical component.
Yeah.
This was a special permit, so those need to be called out.
Commissioner Schiff.
Okay. Sorry, I was
Okay.
just, no, I was just writing my note. Commissioner Shetta?
Thank you, Chair. I share your comment regarding the lighting. I believe if you look at the southwest corner, I'm sorry, northwestern corner near the street, there is a light pole there. This is the only concern I believe it's gonna be for the lighting. It's adjacent to a driveway, so I don't think it's gonna be a big deal. But if we want, they can provide shielding to that light and run with even a phone meter, like the app, to make sure that the candles along that property line at that corner is not exceeding, and then add the node based on that. This is my recommendation to them. And instead of just adding a node without making sure that this node is accurate, just shield that, because without shielding, definitely based on the tons of reviews for luminous spreads that we've seen, there is a light pole at that corner, and it's gonna shed light to the residential property for sure. So if they put the shielding, run the measure with the phone, it's gonna take him like a minute. The same guy who put the shielding, make sure that it's working, put the note, done. That's and I also wanted them to educate us on what are the minor deviations from the previously approved. That's all what I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I have nothing further to add, and I also agree with your solution for rather than an elimination of term, considering something else. But because there was no CO obtained for the past 23 years, we should have them come back again. And then, as Vice Chair said, we could consider something then,
Or future board?
future board.
Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Shetta?
Yes, sorry, I forgot to say that I'm in favor of like giving them longer term rather than eliminating the term. I forgot to mention that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Ready?
Yes.
Item number 22, 8305 BZ, 214 West Houston Street, Manhattan.
Proof of initial filing and hearing notices have been provided. Community board has voted to approve. Community board also encourages the applicant to be attentive to creative and to creating a facade which reflects the nature of the street townhouse, which will be replaced by the surrounding context. This is an amendment application, amendment to previously approved variance that permitted an enlargement of a residential healthcare facility at a portion of this enlarged subject site. Back then, the waiver that was granted was for height and setback, rear yard and lot coverage. Applicant is seeking, in addition to the height and setback, rear yard and lot coverage, for the enlarged portion of the zoning lot, also an FAR waiver. Please note that when the prior board granted the bulk variance, the City Planning Commission had approved the FAR increase, and that was pursuant to a special permit that allocated the maximum permitted community facility FAR, which has been exercised, and therefore there is no other avenue, and variance is the only way to increase the FAR. So the maximum permitted per zoning that was granted through city planning was 4.8. Applicant is seeking slightly more than that. So the zoning lot prior, when board had previously approved it back in 2005, it consisted of only lot 12. The zoning lot has enlarged to include lot 12 and 27. 27 currently has a 5-story, a 4-story, a tiny townhouse. It's a very narrow lot. And the applicant is proposing to combine it and enlarge its facility. And at the time, again, when the board had prior granted it, it was a nonprofit healthcare provider. Currently, it's not a nonprofit healthcare provider. So we have to kind of balance the programmatic element with the financial aspect of it. So, and however, I do want to read out both the issues that's been raised and how that is tied together, the way the applicant has presented it. So the applicant states that the existing building is inadequately sized to spread the increasing compliant cost in a financially efficient manner across the existing 105 beds, and also states that there is insufficient space to provide the therapeutic service at the rate and that is comparable to similar facilities in New York City, in the city. Applicant also says that there is a need to accommodate additional rehab beds for the downtown Manhattan area. So the proposed amendment on lot 25 will increase the total bed count to 125. It will also increase the additional physical and occupational therapy area. And the building height will be similar to the existing building, and therefore it needs the waivers. I have a couple of questions, more of a zoning clarification questions, and then I'll get into the findings. So on the proposed plan sheet, indicate the floor on the floor plan sections and elevations, indicate the area of encroachment in the rear and the setbacks. Now, pursuant to zoning resolution 24-33, permitted obstruction, wouldn't a full lot line building on the first floor be permitted? And if so, the rear yard waiver would be applicable for the portion that is above the height of 23-story or 1-story, whichever is less from the curb level. That's one. The other one is, will the rooftop and the rear yard of the enlarged portion be used for recreational purposes? I'm assuming that a pre-City of Yes zoning resolution is being applied. And if so, zoning resolution section 23-662 for height and setback would only permit 30 to 40-foot base height with a building height of 55 feet. And if that is the case, it doesn't match the proposed plan, which shows a base height of 65 feet and a building height of 85 feet. So please clarify which zoning regulation is being applied and if section 23-665 is overruling 23-662. Clarify if sections 2300 are applicable, such as 23-153, 2352B, and 23-665, instead of 2400, since it is not a nonprofit. I was just kind of going through it and trying to understand which sections are applicable. So it would be helpful if applicant can clarify. This would be really helpful also for the future board, since we are kind of in this transition with the old zoning code and the City of Yes. Clarify why, again, so with regards to the as of right use, same thing, why a full lot coverage cellar and a first floor could not be provided. And if the maximum height permitted is 85, foot, clarify why 2 additional floors is not feasible. Now, according to prior BSA resolution, complying with applicable setback requirements above the street wall height would result in floor plates that would not, quote, would not be able to accommodate appropriately sized residential rooms, toilets, therapeutic bathroom, bathing room as required by state regulation. I'm assuming it is still applicable today, and if so, please clarify that. Now, as I stated, the applicant gave the reasoning why the changes in the nursing home regulatory elements and the enhancement in the industrial best practices is making is causing the applicant to apply for this variance to seek more additional bulk. So I would say typically, if it was an as-of-right development, they would be able to max out their floor area and if they were not maxed out. Now, in this case, not only is it maxed out, but they also are limited by the prior board variance. So that is why the applicant is before us, and prior board had established the hardship of this site, the unique condition, and I think this additional site is no different. It is narrow, it is shallow, and I think the A finding is still applicable. With regards to the B finding, I will let Commissioner Otley Brown speak to it, but I think the financial analysis, at least what I could understand, has been provided, and it supports and is supported by the current operational requirement as of 2022. And as stated by the applicant, the addition of beds would right-size the facility to the current regulatory requirement and improve the financial stability of the facility. With regards to C, I think the board had found that it did not affect the neighborhood character, and the proposed development is maintaining the same bulk, height and setback. So I do not think there would be any change to it. And D is not a factor here. And I think overall, the proposed enlargement will continue to meet the minimum finding, and therefore I really have no issues, but I do want the applicant to clarify the as of right regarding the rear yard. Any update on the environmental, Ms. Benke?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We sent the hazmat documents to DEP for review. For air quality, we did receive a response, but I need the applicant to check because there was some errors they were going to resubmit without the text errors. So once we get that, we will send to DEP or look at it first. And Historic Resources is still open at the moment.
Okay. Chair Shibata?
Thank you, Chair. I agree with most of your comments. I do believe that they have satisfied the A finding, and I've reviewed the B finding financials, and I believe they're sufficient, but I do look forward to hearing my colleague, Commissioner Otley Brown's thoughts on it. With regard to the C finding, I hope the developer hears the request of the community that encourages the facade to reflect existing townhouses and fit within the character of the street, and also to screen the mechanics. I don't believe there's a D finding issue or an E finding issue here. I have nothing further.
Yes, thank you for pointing out regarding the C, the mechanical, covering the mechanical and the facade treatment. Commissioner Otley Brown.
So as this case appears on the SOC calendar, it really is about why what you were previously granted is no longer the minimum variance, why it no longer works. And so the way I understand this, when you're given a variance, it is to be competitive with your peers. And you were actually frozen in time at the point at which you're granted your variance. And so in this case, the industry has changed in a major way over the past 20 or so years. And so this facility is no longer as competitive with its peers as it was. So it's kind of an economic obsolescence argument, because if they were to stay as their existing envelope, their property is no longer attractive for its purpose-built use. Therefore, there would be higher vacancies associated with leasing it up and lower than market rents. And so the financials did show us that, and in a very conservative manner, but it did highlight the fact that if this property were to stay as it is with no changes granted by the board, it would no longer be attractive for its purpose-built use. And so therefore, I feel that the financials made the case, and I feel that the statement was very thorough in talking about the issues from an investment standpoint and not relying on the programmatic needs, because it could no longer rely on programmatic needs. So I'm actually satisfied that they made the findings, the B finding and the E finding.
Okay, great. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. I'm satisfied with the application. The only comment I have is I haven't seen any mention for the violations in the statement. So if they can address that, I'm not sure if they submitted like the DOB print out, but even if they did, I would like them to like add some language regarding violations in the statement.
Okay.
That's all what I have, but I'm satisfied with the application. Thank you.
Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I'm also satisfied with the application. There's one small thing in the statement of facts on page 3. There's a reference to the site being located at 214 Hudson Street. So I think that's a typo. Otherwise, I'm satisfied with the application.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Continued hearings on the zoning calendar, 2024-45BZ, 295 Front Street, Brooklyn.
Okay, this is a special permit for a school to be located in a STEM district. The revised plan has been submitted, and the parking area that is located along Front Street will be enclosed by a solid fence wall with access door for pedestrian vehicular access. And I think they should address the DOT school safety concern. And note has been added to the plan regarding window. Yeah, so they did add a note to the plan, which is more in the section of it. I want the note to be added in the part of the floor plan, on the 4th floor plan and the 5th floor plan regarding the windows, that it will be sound attenuated with double pane windows. Statement of fact has been revised with regards to finding A, and I am satisfied with the recommendation of all the changes, and I would recommend that we close it. I do have to bring out one question, and the DOT has raised an issue, and they would like the configuration of the street geometry be changed with regards to the school drop-off and the traffic flow, because the DOT believe the road is too narrow for two-way traffic and school drop-off. Now, as I look through the findings, finding D is related to school safety, and the concern that we got from school safety was regarding fencing off that parking area. That has been addressed. The remaining question of changing street direction and configuration, I think it's not a switch that can happen so easily. It requires analysis. It requires community boards' feedback and approval. So the school is already existing, and it is proposing to enlarge, and their timeline for enlargement is, I think, fall of this year. So I am of the opinion that we should close this and put together a condition that will require the applicant to work with DOT in addressing a change in the geometric configuration as and when it is needed, based on an analysis, a comprehensive analysis that would be done by DOT and not by the applicant, because the applicant is proposing a very small factor of it. And that factor, as I was looking at the total volume, the 13% of the total trip would be coming by auto. Majority, over 50%, will be taking subway or New York City buses. There is no school bus drop-off. People will be taking, and these are 9th to 12th grade. So they will be taking public transportation to come to the site. And during AM peak, about 285 people will be walking to the site. Whereas, 31 vehicles will be coming to drop off. So I find what is triggering the need for this vehicular movement could be cumulative, but that analysis needs to be done in a different way based on a change in the traffic flow in the neighborhood and a complete analysis. So this would be my recommendation, and it would be a deviation, but I think I want to hear everybody's take on it. Definitely my counsel, and I want to see how we can achieve this. Vice Chair Shibeta.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with you. I am prepared to close on this case. I understand the particularities of this, but I'm satisfied with this application.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
So I'm actually satisfied with this application. This is an application for a high school. So these are young people who live in the city and are used to walking the streets of the city, certainly by the time they hit 9th grade to 12th grade. And therefore, I think that we need to give a little more flexibility to the school in terms of controlling the safety of the children walking through that neighborhood, or the young adults walking through that neighborhood. And so I'm perfectly fine with what they're suggesting, which is that they would actually put a school crossing guard at one of the intersections that'll be most traversed by the children, the young adults, as well as having faculty members on site, ensuring that the young people get into the school in a safe manner and exit in a safe manner. So I personally am fine with the application as is.
Okay. Commissioner Sheta.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, yes, I agree. We can close if council agrees. The second thing regarding the DOT analysis, I wouldn't ask a sister agency to do an analysis for a specific site like this. I would like put a condition that an analysis need to be done and by the applicant. They have to do their own analysis for their own site, pay for the analysis cost, and then DOT has to look at that analysis and approve it. And if DOT believes that the level of the analysis is done is not like satisfying their needs or requirements, they can ask for more sophisticated analysis. But at the end of the day, they have to approve that kind of analysis and bless whatever solutions that the applicant is going to come up with. But I'm okay with closing if, like I said, if the council agrees on that. Thank you.
State that again.
We can close if the board would like to close.
Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you. I agree with everything that's been stated. And I visited the site during the day. This was some time ago now, but it's pretty quiet over there in Vinegar Hill. And there's a lot of still cobblestone streets, one ways. So in my experience, people tend to drive pretty slowly here, and there's not a whole lot of traffic. Obviously, DOT is the authority on this, but I think that, as you stated, Chair, some of the larger changes, including potentially altering street direction, et cetera, that's something that could be investigated separate from this application. I'm satisfied and I'm prepared to close at the end of the hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Go.
Yeah.
2025-07BZ, 1717 Richmond Road, Staten Island.
All right, this is an existing drive-through that is coming for an extension pursuant to the ZEO Special Permit Section 7331. And at the last hearing, we had a very good, productive discussion where representatives from Starbucks were there. And comments were raised by the board, and community board also was at the hearing, expressed their reasons. And based on that, I do see the revisions that have been made to the plans. Dimensions have been added, flexible bollards have been provided to delineate the drive-through lane. New light fixtures have been proposed for the main entry-exit way from the parking lot. No left turn sign has been added from the drive-through. However, it's not clear if there is an existing no left turn sign from the main drive-through. If there isn't, there should be. And I noticed that the plan note on page 110 shows no right turn from the parking lot, which does not make sense because that's the only turn that you can make on this. So I think, please go back and check. It actually, maybe there is an existing sign which says no left turn. But if there isn't, please make sure there is also a no left turn provided, sign has been provided. Applicant is proposing improvements to the landscape plan in the median. However, the applicant did not clarify what is the peak period and if the peak volume has changed from the previous approval. And is it conflicting with other business operation on the site? And based on that, will the proposed implementation respond to the queuing and other concerns that were raised by the community board? Board had also asked for clarification regarding when and how long line busting measures will be implemented. And that was not clarified as to, based on an existing operation, is a line busting measure required? Applicant did say during the hearing that they have improved the flow of preparation and staffing, but they did not clarify whether in this case, given the analysis, a line busting is still needed and when it would get triggered. And I think the board, I feel the board kind of was directing operators of this facility to say, even though you may not need it now, you should have a plan in place. And when that trigger arises, you should be ready to implement it. And I think that is what the board is looking for, and having an operational plan where it can be implemented. That's where I am on this. Vice Chair Shabeta.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with your statements, and I have made multiple site visits to this location. And for the most part, I did notice that the drive-through was moving quite quickly. But I do like your intention and your suggestion that they have a fallback plan in place in case this drive-through does get filled up. Now, I have seen it. I have seen it once or twice in the last 6 months, like several cars in queue. I have to say I've seen less of it in these last couple of months. But so I do agree with your statement that they should have some operational plan in case they do have some line busting plan in case they do have a situation where this overflow does happen. And that's, of course, that stays and that plays a really important part, because in the last few months, the location that is adjacent to it, the Fine Fair, that has opened and that's become much more in use. So I think that they should have some sort of response to that.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
So I agree with the two of you that the operational plan doesn't necessarily address line busting when all else fails. And I would also like a little bit more summary information about that plan. So for instance, they say their average peak processing time is 50 to 55 seconds. And their goal is to decrease processing time to 45 seconds consistently. But what does that actually mean for line movement?
Yeah.
You know, and in terms of how many cars will be waiting to order and will that back up on the street? So they don't really go into details. I'm sure they know that information, which is why they came up with those conclusions, but they need to give that information to us so we have confidence that they can manage their crowd effectively. And they talk about moving their order speaker to reservoir space number 7 instead of 5 in order to increase the time available to make drinks after ordering. Well, how long would it take to process the order if it were in reservoir space 5 versus reservoir space 7? So if they could just give us the conclusory information after they state their plans, that would give us confidence that it's actually going to work. And then I note that I looked at the new proposed plans and it didn't show the menu board speaker positioning moved to space 7. I saw it and I thought it
No,
was
I
still in
didn't.
5. So yeah, I think that they should actually make the change on the plans as well.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. I agree with you that the submission is very responsive. And I believe we got to a point that this application now is satisfactory to me. I have no further comments.
Okay. Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I actually found that a lot of our comments on the plans from the last hearing were not picked up. The signs say no right turn on the prior plans. That was noted in the hearing. And it's noted again in this hearing that that should have been changed to say no left turn and that should have been for both entries. The sound dispersion plan still has the wrong notes. Talking about distances of 3,200 feet instead of 32 feet or whatever they're supposed to be. So some of these detailed comments that we made at the last hearing were not picked up here. I guess I'd like the applicant to address that because we went through it the last time. I don't want to go through it again. Otherwise, I do see that some of the other changes were made to the plans. So I think it's just addressing those smaller comments that we had made at the last session and understanding why they weren't picked up and ensuring obviously that they do.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, please do. That's why we do have the recording available online. So please do go through those. And yes, we do give a lot of comments and sometimes it may not be able, you may not be able to pick up every comments that's stated. But that's why the recording is there for you to go back and make sure all of the comments have been responded to. Thank you all.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. This concludes the review session for July 15th, 2025. It is 10:49. We'll resume at
11?
11 o'clock.
Yeah.
We'll resume at 11 a.m. for the public hearing. Thank you.
About to proceed, please ensure your microphones are on. Ms. Matias, we are live, we are streaming. You may proceed with today's public hearing.
Chair Shetta are attending remotely. The special order calendar, new cases, item 19, 2019-206 BZ, volume 2.
Who
Okay, John?
It should
Is the
be,
microphone on, Tony?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do that again. Shoot.
please, everybody have your microphone on.
Sorry, everybody have your microphone on. Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals public hearing. Thank you, Tracy, for July 15, 2025. Please note for the record that Vice Chair Shabeta and Commissioner Shedder are joining us remotely. The first item up for bid. The first item up.
No, we do not do
We
any.
do not
bidding.
do bids. I apologize. I'm sorry. Special order calendar. The first item is item number 19, 2019-206 BZ. Oh, how terrible it is to sound. 51-22 Roosevelt Avenue, Queens. I apologize, Mr. Frank St. Jacques. Raise your right hand. Is there anyone joining you, Frank and Mr. St. Jacques?
No, it's just myself. Good morning.
Okay. Right hand, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board, and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Okay, please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session. I don't think
Yes, will do. Thank you, Tony. Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. My name is Frank St. Jacques. I'm with Ackerman LLP. We're land use counsel for the applicant on this extension of time to complete construction and obtain a CO application. Heard the comments at the review session. I can confirm that at the time the application was filed in May, there's a certificate of correction with respect to an ECB oath violation that had been submitted but was still pending. That violation has been resolved. If I may just share my screen, I can demonstrate that from the DOB website. Bear with me one moment. If the board is able to see the DOB BIS record for that violation is now reflecting that it has been resolved and that the certificate has been accepted. This is, as I noted, a change since when we filed. If the board has any further questions or concerns, I'm happy to address them, and otherwise I'll just rest on the record.
Can you submit that for the record, Mrs. St. Jacques?
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other updates? No, okay, that's it. Thank you. Any other questions? Let's go to the public then.
The case that we're currently discussing is 2019-206 BZ, 51-22 Roosevelt Avenue, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669, sorry, 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 161-239-2530 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press star 9 to raise your hand, star 6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application.
All right, I'm going to recommend that we close this, and apart from the violation document, Mr. Shanjak, that you provided, if you just submit that, I think that should be sufficient. And we can schedule this for decision in July, end of July.
That would be great. Thank you. I'll go ahead and submit that this afternoon.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Shetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Item number 2020-56A, Volume 25860 West 39th Street, Manhattan.
Who would this be? Oh,
Alexia.
Hello.
Morning, Ms. Landisman.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
This is an A case, so you don't need to be sworn in. Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. My name is Alexia Landisman from Sheldon Nobel PC. We have attended the executive session and want to address the board's comments. I believe the board just wanted a status update with regards to the project. And so the applicant just emailed me and just gave me a brief overview. So the concrete structure was completed in 2024. The HVACs are partially done for most of the guest rooms for the hotel. The curtain wall glasses have been installed from the second floor all the way to the 19th floor. And so the project is about 65% done, just as an overview. And then with regards to the violations, so specifically with regards to the violation that was in June, that was mentioned by Commissioner Yoon, they are going to be attending oath because they believe that they told me that the security guard on site was on the upper floors during the time of the visit, and so they are handling that violation and addressing that. And it's my understanding that most of the violations are going to be cleared by September 2025, and so they are working on curing these violations and addressing them. I believe those were the outstanding comments. And so with that, we're hoping that the board is able to close today and we can provide all of this update via cover letter as well.
Yeah, please do provide that clarification.
Sure.
So most of the violations will be resolved. And what about the temporary partial work order?
I believe
Stop.
that is they need this extension to continue that work.
Okay.
And so I think that it's a catch-22, so to speak.
So please also provide that clarification.
Will do.
Any other questions? All right, let's go to the public.
The case that we're currently discussing is 2026-56A. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the Weber ID number 161-239-2530 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
July. So I'm going to recommend that we close it and schedule it for decision in July. However, please do submit about the update on the status, provide a status update and the violation update in a cover letter.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Just waiting for the clock to run out.
And I think the submission for is July 8th, so we are past it, so do provide it as soon as possible.
Okay, no one called in, raise their hands. Motion to close, Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 21, 26898BZ, Volume 3, 1252 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Will it be Neil Weisbart?
Neil Weisbrod,
Yeah.
Weisbard, sorry.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Neil Weisbart on behalf of the applicant.
Are you, you have anyone else appearing with you?
Yes, Kieran Meehan.
Kieran Mirham?
Yes, I do see.
We might not need him, but he's from the architect's office in case.
Okay. Anyone else? Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Karen.
Yeah.
Good morning. Please raise your right hands, both you, Karen and Neil. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review. Mr. Weisbart, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Neil Weisbart on behalf of the applicant regarding the 7-Eleven convenience store with fuel pumps at 1252 Forest Avenue, Staten Island. I attended review session this morning, and I'll go through the comments and make sure I didn't miss anything. We will correct the typo in the zoning district to make sure it's a C2-1. We will indicate that the site is located within the bed of a mapped street, and we will add the street widening line. We will also add the dimensions of the air vac machine and ice box. We will check the signage on the site and ensure that the signs are in compliance, and will utilize the street frontage regulations. As to proof of continuous use, we will provide a history of photos from Google. I wasn't able to find it at the time, but it sounds like there's workarounds to that, and so I will be able to do that. We will we will also provide interior site photos and provide that to the board. As to the lighting on the site, we will add the standard lighting notes regarding aluminum levels along property lines adjacent to residential uses will not exceed the 2-foot candles, and that will screen away from residential uses, standard notes. And also look into whether or not shielding is necessary at the one light post adjacent to the residence. And we will add that to the plan if that is necessary. We will review the history of approvals and determine which ones are no longer applicable, and we'll indicate that in the statement of findings. We understand your concerns regarding the term, and we respectfully request a 20-year term as suggested by Vice Chair Shabeta, if possible. And then finally, regarding the minor deviations, we did indicate them in the certificate of inspection and compliance form and statement of facts and findings. And they all relate to the building layout. And there is one deviation in landscaping. However, the applicant proposes to install, I believe there's just one tree missing to comply with the previously approved set of drawings. And I believe that's everything.
Okay. So with regards to the tree, I hope you can plant the tree. That would be great if that's possible, unless it's not a site that actually cannot be planted, which looks good on drawings, but physically not possible. But if that's not the case, you can plant it. Please do plant it. Oh, no. I'm sorry. My computer wants to restart now, and I'm saying no, because your project is more important.
Thank you.
So the deviation that you said, it's within the building layout?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me read these to you. 1 second. The ADA bathroom is proportioned differently. The aisle adjacent to the fast food prep extends further than what was shown in the original plans. The electrical area is a little bit different. The entrance to the back room are laid out differently. The coffee island extends further. Metal guard pipes shown in elevations. Electrical panels equipment different on the east elevation. The entrance door is not as centered on building. Shifted one glass panel to the left, as was shown on the previously approved plans, and then the landscape, as I mentioned.
Yeah, the door to the exterior is moved, so it's no longer centered, it's off center.
Now, okay, I just have to look at the plan. I wasn't very evident from the layout, so I didn't catch it. Just let me pull out the plan. Condition. Okay. No, typically proposed plan, we don't see a bubble plan if there's any correction that is, yeah. Okay. Existing building sign.
Should always have a bubble plan when there's changes.
Generally, it's a bubble plan when there's a change happening from the initial submission to the proposed. Okay, so if you can just provide a bubble plan showing where the changes have happened. My only question, it is difficult for me to see where the door is in relation to the entrance because if it has moved a little bit, I see there's a box to where it says concrete. I don't know if that box is going to be in the way of your pedestrian movement, especially ADA ramp. So that needs to be corrected. And in the site plan, indicate where the proposed door entrance is, because that's not very clear. And when I'm looking at the floor plan, I see the door has been moved, but I cannot relate it to the placement of the door on the site plan. So on the site plan, indicate where the door will be.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this an issue that would prompt DOB to somehow hold up any of your applications going forward because it doesn't match what was approved by the BSA? That's the question.
I wouldn't think so, but what we can do is bubble what the changes are and ensure that your board approves the current set, which would comply with the existing conditions on site.
Okay. I don't think the change in the location of the doorway changes anything in the plan per se. My only question is, what is that box on the plan?
Yeah, I have it. You're looking at the BSA 103?
102. I'm looking at BSA 102.
102.
And when you go up the ramp where it says concrete,
Yes.
right from there, there's a little rectangular box.
Oh, okay. Karen, do you happen to know what that is?
Just give me a moment.
102, it's right by the ADA space and it's right by the entrance of the building. But we'll look into that. You probably wouldn't know. It's on the screen actually.
Oh, let me see.
We'll look into that. I don't want to waste your time. We just be speculating.
Regardless of whether the door gets moved or not, that impediment cannot be there because it is in the way of the ADA accessibility.
Got it.
Okay, and I would say while you're there, also indicate the dimension of that pathway.
Okay.
Fine.
We will do that.
And I want to see what's the condition of that landscape area in the rear. And I believe there is a fence around that. So do provide the photographs indicating, outlining those conditions, because that was one of the conditions, and we need to make sure you're in compliance.
Okay.
It looks like that's an access panel from my photos, so it's not an actual obstruction on that sidewalk raised above grade. Looks like it was some sort of access panel.
Okay, so then clarify.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, let's go to the public.
The case that we're currently discussing is 26898 BZ Volume 3, 1252 Forest Avenue, Staten Island. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you will enter the Weber ID number 161-239-2530 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application.
Bless you.
Thanks.
Okay, how much time will you need to make these corrections and update the statement submissions?
I don't think we're gonna need a lot of time at all. So whatever the next agenda you could put us on.
Okay, we can't do July, because July submission was due last week. So August is possible.
Okay,
That'd be a July 24th submission.
July 24th submission. If you need a little bit of extra time, do let the project manager know. I want to make sure you make a complete, thorough submission. So
Okay.
I okay with that. I'm going to recommend that we close it. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. So close it, keep the record open for you to make these submissions. However, if I do find that the rear yard condition is not in good shape, prior to decision, I do want those improvements to be made, because if you're going to consider a extended term, I want to make sure all these improvements are in place before we vote on it.
okay.
Okay, motion to close, Chair Shanda.
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You too.
Item number 22-8305 BZ, 214 West Houston Street and 58 Downing Street, Manhattan.
Who should be on this?
It's Mr. Steinhaus.
Anybody else from your team, Mr. Steinhaus? don't see
Judy,
anybody's-
Judith Gallant is,
I don't see Judy. You have?
yeah.
I'm
And
here.
also Michael Schreiber and Joseph Palante.
Who?
Michael Schreiber. And you got the other one? Joseph Palante?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll wait till they're in so we can swear you in. Mr. Schreiber and then Mr. Palante, the waiting for it.
He's not available. I think we can probably proceed without him. Oh, here he is.
Okay. Everyone ready? So raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
You do.
Okay, please state your name for the record and please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments or review session, whoever is the lead in this.
I will. Good morning. Still morning. I'm Judy Gallant from BCLP. I'm Land Use Counsel for the applicant. I'm joined by Kurt Steinhaus, my colleague, the project architect, Joe Palante, and Michael Schreiber, who is a representative of the applicant and the operator of the West Village Rehabilitation and Nursing Center. We listened to your review session and I'll address the board's comments. First, the chair's zoning questions. It all is all a little convoluted. Long-term care facilities under prior City of Yes zoning, but under pre-City of Yes zoning, the facility is defined as a long-term care facility in 1210. That has nothing to do with income, it's just long-term care. Section 24013, which is entitled Special Provisions for Certain Community Facilities, provides that long-term care facilities are governed by the bulk regulations applicable to affordable independent residences for seniors known as AIRS, pre-City of Yes. Those regulations are set forth in Article 2, Chapter 3, but with the exception of FAR, which 24013A3 tells you is limited to 3.6 FAR instead of 3.9 for AIRS, which would have been the case under 23153 if it applied, but 24013 says it doesn't. And that section 24013A also establishes that LTCFs are considered a residential use for purposes of applying the bulk regulations. So with that background, with respect to the rear yard obstruction, which you raised, Chair, 23442 does allow a rear yard obstruction for heirs, and that applies to long-term care facilities like the facilities, but only if the building portion in the rear yard is within 100 feet of a wide street. And here, this lot is not. So it does not get the rear yard obstruction, unfortunately. With respect to the applicability, you asked about of 23153, which is for FAR and coverage for quality housing buildings. That section does apply to LTCF, but only with respect to coverage, lot coverage. FAR is instead governed by 24013A3 and sets the FAR for LTCF at 3.6. And then finally, with respect to the maximum base height, it is 65 feet, not 40 feet, because the AIRS regulations supersede the basic height and setback rules. So 23664 applies, not 23662, which has the lower maximum base height. So, you know, if you want us to write a memo or something to set this forth for you, we can, but I think our zoning analysis has all the correct provisions cited. So whatever you'd like us to do there. I don't think there's any corrections that have to be made to the zoning analysis.
Thank you for that clarification. I was going back and forth, but it's not, you're right. That is kind of the chain of the connection. But it would be helpful if you can provide that. The reason is because of the switch that is happening and what this current board is applying and why. That explanation will be very helpful. Should this require any future board approval, then we know how these sections were applied.
Okay, we can certainly do that. With respect to your the question about why the facility couldn't include 2 additional floors to max out the height, I believe that the floor plates would be too constrained above the setback to comply with regulatory requirements, which is exactly the same issue that we faced with the original facility. It just doesn't work because of the need for bathrooms and turning radiuses. Once you set back, which is why we didn't want to set back, you know, all the way to the height, 77-foot height. We need the setback waiver. It's the same issue. It would not be productive to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. I just wanted to on that. So
yeah, you were right. With respect to mechanical equipment on the roof, any rooftop mechanical equipment will be screened as the community board requested. With respect to violations, There are no open violations on either lot 12 or lot 27. And I checked on this, but we'll double check that, and we will, of course, add it to the statement of facts where it should have been. And of course, we'll correct the typo, Hudson instead of Houston. And thank you for pointing that out, Commissioner Yoon. And I think that is all the questions. Those were the comments that the board raised.
Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. Any questions or comments for the team? All right, let's go to the public then.
The case that we're currently discussing is 8305 BZ, 214 West Houston and 58 Downing Street, Manhattan. Should you wish to comment on this application, please dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the Weber ID number 161-239-2530 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press star 9 to raise your hand, star 6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to comment on this application, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized in any format, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
So at the hearing, we received an update on the environmental status, so those are still outstanding. Hopefully you can work with I know you will. Ms. Benke, your hand is up, please.
Hi, I just want to give you another update on hazmat that the applicant's aware of. We just received word from DEP that they are recommending an E-designation for the new lot and have requested a phase 1 as per the New York City rules on E-designations.
Okay. So that addresses hazmat.
Yes.
But you would need to revise the plans, add the E-designation notes. And the phase 1 would need to be submitted before we can close the EAS, Ms. Benke?
I believe so, yes.
I am very comfortable with the idea of closing it, but keeping the record open and addressing all the environmental issues because I think they've been met. And if there are any changes as a result of these analysis that would require additional notes to be added to the plan, then those plans need to be revised. So I think definitely, if anything can happen, earliest would be August, if not early part of September. So I would say, project managers, please stay in touch with Ms. Gallen and Mr. Steinhaus as to how we are proceeding, and we will schedule it either in August or in September.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. So motion to close?
Motion to close, Chair Shonda?
Aye.
Did we go to the public on this?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, my bad.
Commissioner Sheta, with the idea of closing?
No. I was asking if we like went to the public. I'm
We did.
sorry.
That's okay. Vice Chair Shabeta?
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta?
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon?
Aye. Thank you all. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Zoning calendar continued hearing items. Item number 23, 2024-45 BZ. This is Mr. Becker.
I've allowed Mr. Becker in. Is there anybody else from your team, Mr. Becker?
Hello. I believe Amber Karchilian might be joining us if she's somewhere around.
See her. I do not see her.
Okay.
Okay. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your, the record, and proceed to respond to the board's comments. Ms. Cartalian, are you going to join in now that you, yeah, okay, let me swear her in.
Please swear her in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as she gets a.
I thought I saw.
Yeah, there she is. Good morning, Ms. Cartalian. Raise your right hand. So I can swear you in. I
Can you
can't hear. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Okay. Mr. Becker, please proceed.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. Frederick A. Becker. I attended your review session this morning. With the plan change, the addition of the double pane window note is being added to the 4th and 5th floor plans, the proposed conditions as we speak, and I should be able to get them to the board within the next day or so. I believe that was the only comment on my part, and I appreciate the board's consideration in potentially closing this matter pending with the DOT condition, if appropriate.
I have a question thank you. I have a question for Ms. Cartalian. As I was looking at the site plan and we observed that there is an elementary school also at the corner of Front and Hudson, basically catty corner, exactly opposite from the subject site. When you were doing the counts, can you tell me where exactly were this main entrance, where the students were arriving from?
I don't know. Our traffic engineer is the one that did the counts. I can get back to you on that, but I want to say that the main entrance is along Hudson Avenue. I'm not sure. I think some of our locations would have picked up, vehicular traffic would have been picked up, and I think some of our locations would have picked up pedestrian traffic associated with that school.
Assuming, given that this is a school that has been there for some time, there must be school safety plan associated with that school, and it's a school safe zone. You have that safe zone demarcated around the school. Can you confirm that, or maybe you can put that?
In terms of for our location, a school safety zone?
No, for this existing.
This location?
I am trying to understand the extent of the various safety measures that is already in place for this existing school. And what is the additional school safety that you're proposing? And whether between the existing and the proposed, wouldn't that be sufficient is really what I'm trying to get at.
I see what you're saying. I don't know in terms of the existing school, if they have any crossing guards. I know they're not located on any of our intersections where our students are anticipated. Their entrance is further up along Hudson Avenue, and I believe that they do have staff there to greet their students. But in terms of what they have in place, it's not really along the front street frontage or the Hudson Avenue frontage. For our purposes here, we are proposing crossing guards staffing along both frontages, and then also we've done a warrant analysis at the intersection of Hudson and Gold, where we'd be implementing stop controls.
So Hudson and Gold, and what's the other one? Front end?
I believe crossing guard would be Front and Hudson.
Hudson and Gold will pick up the school, the existing school almost.
Yeah, I would assume it would be beneficial for both, this location and the existing school with what's being proposed.
You in front and Gold intersects. All right, Gold is,
Front and Gold, correct, yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, any information that you can provide, share with the project manager on this, that would be helpful. Like
Okay.
what are the existing controls that are in place for the existing school? Can't hear you, Ms. Cardelian.
Sorry, yeah, I'll look into that and see if I can find anything on that. And then in terms of DOT review status, I know I had reached out to Tracy and Jella. We're waiting on review of the detailed and level of service analysis that was submitted, and also trying to coordinate with DOT to confirm whether or not we can make that a one-way conversion feasibility assessment that DOT is going to conduct a condition of the approval so that it doesn't delay things, because there's a whole community board process with that, and we don't know DOT's timeline for doing that analysis. So that's ongoing. Jella, I know if you had heard back from DOT, you would have let me know. So I'm assuming that we don't have a date scheduled for that meeting, but we're working on it.
One-way traffic would be on Hudson Street going north.
Correct.
Hudson Hill. Jella's hand is up.
Oh, Ms. Prenger, go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to quickly state that I don't have a big update, but just that DOT is going to issue comments today. That's what they told us. We were trying to get them before this hearing, but we don't have it yet, but they said today. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In terms of a meeting, I don't have an update on that, but if once we've received the comments, we can assess it.
Thank you, Jella.
If anybody can help me, can somebody show me what's the circulation flow of existing vehicular traffic movement on this road? Is Hudson Street currently two-way and is operating as two-way, or is it, even though it's two-way, it's operating as one-way?
No, so sorry, I wanted to correct the record on that. Hudson Avenue is currently two-way and it's operating as two-way. It's just narrow. So I was incorrect when I said northbound. So the feasibility would be to assess a one-way conversion for Hudson Avenue to go southbound, which would still allow vehicles to pull up along the Hudson Avenue frontage for drop-offs and pickups.
And what is the width of Hudson?
Let's see.
Yeah, it's 50 on the plan as I see it. Okay, it's 50 foot as I see it on the plan. And it's two-way for the entire length of Hudson Street all the way to the waterfront? Oh, sorry, Hudson Avenue.
I believe it is. Let me just double check. I believe it goes all the way.
And is the proposal to make it southbound for the entirety or a portion of it?
That's a good question. My understanding was that it would be for the entirety up until it hits, what is it, Navy Street? So let's see. Yeah, so I think that was the intent from DOT, is to convert the entirety to one way up until it hits, sorry, York Street. But I'm not entirely sure that's something that we can check with DOT on, because it could also just be that they want to convert just for our segment and maybe north of our segment.
Just hypothetically, what does it entail to do this kind of change in a traffic lane, traffic direction study? What are the steps?
if I'm being completely honest, I don't know because we've been asked for this twice by DOT, but DOT has always been the one to initiate the analysis. I know that it's similar to a level of service analysis where we've collected the data and provided it to DOT, kind of a broad range of data for all of the intersections that are bounding where that conversion would impact. And then they would basically run a model to, I guess, evaluate that conversion and how it would impact the level of services with the change. That's my understanding, but I'm not entirely certain. And then, once that evaluation's done, then that's presented to community board. And when I've done this in the past, DOT's presented the conversion and their analysis to the community board.
And then after that community board approves it, then the implementation is in place?
Yeah, but DOT would facilitate the implementation.
DOT will facilitate the,
Mhm.
okay. Including changing the street signage and all of that, or?
Correct.
Okay. All right, this is helpful. Thank you. Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may, just, this is following up on Commissioner Shetta's comment and your comment earlier. And based on what Ms. Kartilian is saying, it appears that it is the DOT responsibility for the analysis, not the applicant. So should that be a condition, I would request that it be noted as a DOT responsibility, not the applicant responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to the public. Any questions actually for the team?
The case that we're currently discussing is 2024-45 BZ 295 Front Street, also known as 78 Hudson Avenue, Brooklyn. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the Weber ID number 161-239-2530 and press the pound sign. Once you're at the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application.
In light of everything that we have heard and based on the findings, my question still remains, should we close it? That's first question. Is everybody okay with closing it? Okay. Then the second question is, should we then put a condition or a condition where the applicant works with DOT in addressing the street changing process while it can proceed with securing the necessary approvals to have the school open on both 4th and 5th floor. Any recommendations, thoughts? I know Ms. Kartilian would recommend you draft us a language. I want to see that language.
Mr. Costanza's hand, the Executive Director Costanza's hand is up.
Please go ahead, Mr. Costanza.
Yeah, Madam Chair, just for guidance, if the board were to accept a post-approval condition, what would be the timeline of complying with that prior to something?
So the post-approval condition here is completely contingent upon 3 factors. One is DOT conducting the analysis based on the level of service data that has been provided by the applicant. If DOT is satisfied with it, then only it would proceed to the community board. That's a second factor. If the community board is satisfied with it, then it would proceed to the implementation. So those are the 3 factors, and it's not in the control of the applicant. Applicant has provided the level of service analysis, as I understand it. Now, DOT may or may not be satisfied with that level of service analysis and ask for additional information. The question, and to that extent, the applicant may be working with DOT to provide that additional information so that DOT can complete its analysis and propose a recommendation and then go to DOT, go to community board. That's kind of how I see the roadmap here. And the community board may reject it. And if the community board reject it, then there is no reason for the applicant to have to do any further analysis for something else. Yeah. And we are not requiring DOT to, it's a DOT is wanting this study. We are not requiring it. DOT may have had a long-term plan to make this one way. I do not know if maybe that's one of the reasons, but without knowing that information, this is where it's coming from. Yes, Ms. Morris. First of all, Ms. Morris is our new project manager in our team, and I hope you all get to work with her. We are very excited that she has joined our team. Ms. Morris, go ahead.
Thank you for the introduction, Chaitanya. I'm not sure if it's relevant. It may have been superseded, but a quick search turned up a street direction conversion process and considerations prepared by NYC DOT as of August 1st, 2020, which outlines the process. Page 1 in the second paragraph indicates that direction conversion proposals are generally initiated by DOT in response to a request from a local community board, but may also result from requests from other city agencies. So there's an outline of the process, which is pretty thorough, and what it generally covers. So I'm happy to share a link, and I did just provide the memo to Ms. Prenga.
Oh, thank you for digging. Oh, don't go away, Ms. Morris. Is that directional process for the entirety of Hudson Avenue? From waterfront?
This is a general guideline.
Oh, this is a general guideline. Oh, I'm sorry.
Correct. General guideline, not specific.
Okay, thank you. So I think in that case, the applicant has provided the information for DOT to conduct its analysis. It has assisted city agency in conducting its analysis. And I am very comfortable in that case to close and keep the record open for the remainder of the sign-offs. And we will work with you to the extent possible and put a condition. Yeah, where we'll have to craft a language, and we will draft it with you and make sure that it addresses both the concerns of DOT and of the applicant. And the boards. Okay.
Motion to close, Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Thank you.
Do we have a closed hearing date for the decision, Madam Chair?
Of September.
No, can we do August?
You had mentioned the end of July at one point. Is that?
Because I would like this to be an end of July, but because of this outstanding issue at DOT, I'm trying to see if I can have it resolved. If we can, we will schedule it for July. If not, it will be August.
Okay. May I make an additional comment, Madam Chair?
Yep.
Okay. I have practiced before this board for 42 years. I have successfully handled more than 700 applications. I have appeared before the board more than 1,000 times. This is very likely the last time that I will appear before this august body. I would like to thank the chair, the vice chair, the commissioners for all of their consideration, their compassion, their understanding, their patience in the many applications that I've had throughout the years. I would also like to thank the staff for all of their assistance, and I would in particular like to mention 3 outstanding and exceptional individuals. Those 3 being Carlos Costanza, Tony Matias, and Jella Prenga. They have been exceptional colleagues, friends. They have been helpful more than they ever can know. I am immeasurably grateful to them. I am grateful to the commissioners, to the board itself, and to the rest of the staff. And I just want to thank you for a very interesting 42-year ride at this point.
You look very young for that.
Not as young as you'd think.
Wow, Fred, congratulations. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
Mr. Becker, this is
Congratulations.
Carlo. Thank you for those kind words, and you know, it's been a pleasure working with you for over 20-something years. So thank you, and get some well-needed rest.
Yes. Thank you, Vice Chair, Mr. Costanza, and everyone else. So have a good day. Have a great summer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Mr. Baker.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioner Yu and Commissioner Shada. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
These details, I'm assuming we'll still be working with you.
Yeah.
Conditions?
Oh.
Oh,
Sorry, I think that cut off on the conditions.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until Jella indicated we're gonna get the DOT letter. I'm gonna wait until we see that, and then we'll put together a post-condition approval letter that details what's in our court in terms of responsibilities post-approval, and then we'll reference the DOT one-way conversion.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Great time.
Item number 24, 2025-07BZ, 1717 Richmond Road, Staten Island.
Okay, I think that would be Ms. Belair.
Mhm.
Oops, what happened? Able to see, yeah. Joseph D'Amato, I'm assuming Sally, I think Sally Godin was there last time also, right?
Mm. Who's with you, Ms. Fullader?
It should be Corey Bertrand, did you see? And Sally.
Yep, yep, okay,
They're both from Starbucks, and then Joseph is the architect.
yeah. Yeah, I've let Joseph in.
Corey's not come. I don't know for
Yeah,
some reason.
I'm sure that's that not.
Oh, he's coming? Okay.
Yes.
If you guys can, usually Tony says this, sorry, unmute and show yourselves.
Good afternoon.
I'll let Tony do her job, sorry.
Thank you, Elise. Everyone raise their right hands. Part of the team, who's ever part of the team. Thank you. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board, or to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name for the record, the lead, and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Elise Fullader from Eric Polanic PC. Thank you so much. I have Joseph, the architect with me, and Corey and Sally from the Starbucks team. I think we want to talk about the plan comments first, and then we can talk about operations. That's why I have Corey and Sally here. The point we were trying to put with the operations is we were trying to create a proposal first to discuss with you, and then if everybody's on the same team and everybody agrees that it works, then we can revise the plans accordingly. So first, Joseph, do you want to share your Joseph did a few revisions he'd like to show you to make sure that they're what you're looking for.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you. Yes, I'm going to share the screen. Just give me a moment. Does everyone see my screen?
In a second.
Yes, now we do.
Okay. So we made the revisions based on the earlier comments that we received.
Zoom in for Mr. D'Amato. Can we zoom in on the site plan? Yeah. Thank you.
Shonda, I made the revisions to the new stop sign with no turn left sign. In addition, we put the new stop sign just based on the earlier comments that we received. So you'll see that it says, it's a new stop sign with a no turning left sign as well. Here, and it kind of repeats throughout the set, obviously. We've also made the revisions on various pages with the decibels. Commissioner Yoon, I apologize for that. It was with the decibels here that we were missing the decimal part. So here you got 32 feet, you have the 20 feet, we have the 16 feet, 8 feet and 1 foot. And you can see the,
Sorry.
yeah.
Hard to.
We were actually, would like to ask if it's okay to remove this since I believe Commissioner Shetta had asked to remove, if it's not applicable, we could remove all of the.
Yes, that's what happened last hearing.
Yeah, so if you want, I could remove this as well.
I gave you okay to remove it last hearing.
Okay. Aside from that,
It's not needed because of the huge slope that's
yeah,
next to the site. So
the retaining wall is.
whatever is gonna propagate like throughout your site is your issue, but we care about whatever is gonna propagate outside that, which is blocked by the slope adjacent to the site.
Okay.
Entire street?
Okay.
That's what Commissioner Shedd is saying we are eliminating.
Okay, so we'll eliminate the rest of the information that pertains to them.
Still trying to so Commissioner Shetta, you're okay with the elimination of the dispersion also?
The entire sound issue is not is irrelevant to this site because of the slope. If they want to eliminate the markers for the decibels, I'm okay with that. If they want to keep him, since they have done him already, I'm okay with that. It's up to them.
My question was, do we need the sheet at all?
I think in that case, maybe not.
Yes, I agree. Maybe not. Yeah.
Okay. We bubbled all the changes as you see, so I guess we can eliminate that and we'll bubble the drawing index on the cover sheet accordingly.
You know, I would leave the sheet, just highlight the slope and indicate that this is, let's say, 30 feet tall slope or high slope, something like that.
Okay.
So everybody knows why we don't care about the sound propagation.
Okay. Yeah, I can identify what height that retaining wall is on the site plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that fair? Because I'm not sure of the slope. I don't know if we have that measurement of the slope
You
exactly.
have the contours. I have seen some contours on the survey, I believe. So if you look at the contours, take the max, the minimum, subtract, it's going to give you the height. And you can see approximately 30 feet tall slope.
Okay.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
Okay.
The moving of the menu board, the
Yeah,
speaker.
so that was an operational thing that I wanted Corey to explain why moving the menu board would be extremely helpful in, line busting. Corey, do you want to explain?
Certainly. Hi, everyone. My name is Corey Bertram with Starbucks. When I made this original deal back in 2016, and at the time, putting the menu board at the 5th car was our standard. It's now to be put at the 7th car. And there's two things in the site plan that would help that. One, when I originally made this deal, that median that you see kind of through the middle of the page, just south of our drive-through line, the landlord had originally intended to put an ATM there, a drive-up ATM. So our menu board, we didn't really have a choice even at the time where it had to go. But that ATM was never put there, so it's a drive aisle now. And when we look at line busting, and I know some restaurants and QSRs have people that are outside. I know Chick-fil-A does it. Starbucks has looked at it in the past, and while others do it, we've determined that it's not safe for our employees to be standing in a parking lot. And so what we look at is the equipment inside of our store and then the length of the queue. And so this obviously requires the landlord to consent. He has said he would, assuming that the permit is renewed, because we also want to work on the new trash enclosure and a few other things on the site to do that. But by moving it back to the 7th car, what it does is it gives our employees more time to make food and beverage. Therefore, when you get up to the pickup window, you're not waiting. Your food and your drink is ready to be handed off for you to pay. And that's where we cut down those wait times. And so if you go to the site now, sometimes you'll see there's a gap between the menu board and the pickup window because they're delayed in getting orders out. So by pushing it back, that's where we remove that bottleneck. And that's currently our solve. There's a few other equipment things that as the store gets renovated, we work on adjacencies and some equipment upgrades. But that's where we see the biggest benefit is moving the menu board.
So it doesn't actually impact the processing time. It just basically allows them to get started earlier is what you're saying. So it's going to take the same 50 to 55 seconds to process that drink order. It's just that you're
correct. But by having those extra 2 cars, when you get to the window, there's not a delay in you getting your product, which we have seen speeds up the line and it keeps it moving a little bit faster.
And what is the time period that you're looking at, the processing time from number 7 parking space to the pickup window?
It's still 55 seconds at the window is the goal, but by having the extra time, if somebody comes through with they want 5 drinks, Staten Island is more family, so we see a little bit longer wait times, right? If you're getting more food and beverages. So by giving them that extra time, it limits the time they're at the window. And it moves the cars through faster. So then we reduce the bottleneck.
So would that mean moving the island, building out the island to the number 7 and moving the menu board? So these temporary bollards that are being proposed will then be replaced by the aisle?
Correct. We would like to extend the concrete that's there back 2 cars.
Okay, and the remaining would be the flexible bollards that's in place.
Correct.
Okay. Is that, I'm looking at the drive-through experts on my board. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. You raised a question and you said in Staten Island, generally, it's instead of the request for 1 person or 2 person being a large family, there tends to be a larger volume. Again, would it not be easier in that case to move those that are requesting 1 or 2? I mean, I don't know on average, what is the pickup volumes in Staten Island compared to other areas, other parts of like, let's say Brooklyn or Queens. But it's typically the pickup volume in Staten Island for a large group than in other areas.
Not necessarily. It's just that's what we see causes the wait at the window. The goal is to keep it under that 1 minute at the window for getting your food and paying. And the reason that you see bottlenecks sometimes is if there's a larger order. Or sometimes they're getting people through the menu board so quickly they don't have time to get them at the window. But by moving it back to the 7th is where we resolve that.
Yeah, I don't think he was saying that there's more family, necessarily larger orders here specifically. It just creates a bottleneck if it happens.
Correct.
So you think that would resolve the problem more than having a pullover space?
Yeah, that's Starbucks to solve for it. Not that I think, I know. That's our new standard and it works.
Okay.
And then I don't know if it would be helpful, but Sally is here. If you have any further questions about, we had a few paragraphs in the cover letter about various efficiency and operational changes, and you discussed in the hearing about proof and everything. So I have Sally if you want to discuss any of that.
Do you want any update? Commissioner? I'm good with that. No, I think this is sufficient.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions or comments for the team? Commissioners? Let's go to the public.
The case that we're currently discussing is 2025-07BZ 1717 Richmond Road, Staten Island. If you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 161239-2530 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application.
How much time do you need to make these corrections?
I guess that's between, sorry to put it back on you, Corey and Joseph, to design, and how much long, is that simple to just?
Yeah, Joseph can, talk to the architectural piece. I've known the landlord for a long time. He's a very nice guy, wants to help us. So once Joseph updates the plan, we can get it over to the landlord. He obviously has to consent to us doing this work, but he was very willing to work with us. So it would just be getting plans done and then putting them in for a permit. But I know that Joe, our landlord, was very willing to work with us on this.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, from my side, I think we can get this done fairly quick.
So 2 or 3 weeks? I
Yeah,
would
I'd say
say?
about a week and to get.
And then a week for Corey to get approval?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Are we okay with closing it? Or do you want? Okay. Let's close it and we will schedule this for August.
Okay.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Shetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One and all, this concludes the public hearing for July 15th, 2025. Thank you, one and all. Good day. Thank you. Mike's off. Go on.